Wonderful to be here with you. Today's a great day if you have a yoga bolster or some extra towels or pillows. They might come really in handy, even like a thick couch cushion, depending on the size of it, could work as a bolster. But you can, if you don't have those things nearby, you can use your block. I've already done what we're going to do several times with the block, and it works just fine. It's actually a little harder and can give you a little bit more massage on the underside of your body. But if you have cushions and pillows, that's one of the luxuries of practicing at home. Grab some extra things, and we're going to start on our belly. So come on down to your belly. And then once you're on your belly, just wiggle your hips around a little bit to get a little bit more space across the front of your hips. You can create a pillow with your arms and just take a moment to tune into your breath here, to feel your inhales and exhales. Feeling the sides of the rib cage, the backs of the rib cage as it expands on the inhale and as it compresses on the exhale. All right, you can use one of those pillows or towels for your head, or you can just lay your forehead down on the mat. Let's reach our arms out to the sides and start with some angel arms out by our sides, like we're drawing a snow angel, but we're doing it from our belly. Check in. Oftentimes when we're on our belly, our front hip creases, where your pelvis and your thigh bone meets, tend to slightly lift up. So press that area gently into the floor so that area, as well as your pubic bone, comes down. Ground gently through the tops of the feet as you circle your arms up and down. Reach out through your upper back and chest muscles. And if you haven't done this ever or in a while, it can get pretty tiring pretty quickly, so let yourself rest. It's better to rest and come back and practice more often than to push your body into something that it's not ready to do. And let's go up and down a few more times. And next time your arms go up, you can recreate that pillow with your hands. Now here's where it's going to be extra important to keep those front hip creases, the pubic bone tilting down. And then you're going to tuck, actually let's spread our legs out wide first. So spread your legs as wide as the mat or a little bit wider. And then you're going to tuck your right toes under and straighten the leg. Try to do so without the hips rolling to one side or those front hip creases lifting up. Stretch back long through the leg and do micro lift and lowering of your toes. Now the two things that will often want to happen here when there's some excessive tension or somewhere around the hip is that the pelvis will want to roll to one side, or the pubic bone will want to lift up, or the knee will really want to bend. And one way you can check the knee bend is if when you put your toes down, if you can straighten your leg even more, that means that when it's lifting up, the knee's coming into a subtle knee bend, or it might be very obvious. Try to just be low as you lift through the thigh and the buttocks, because if you go too high, you'll start to transfer the work to the back, the lower back. And we're trying to focus right now on our buttocks and the back of our thigh muscles. Breathing here as you go up and down. All right, let's switch legs. So feet are nice and wide. Tuck your left toes under, reach back through the heel. Try to straighten that leg all the way as you micro lift and lower. Now, at first and for a while, it could be that you're so used to going to your lower back muscles that your body instinctively lifts kind of quickly, like with momentum, because when you go a little bit higher and quicker, again, you bypass some of the work in your buttocks and your hamstring muscles. So try to go slower if possible, reach longer. It's okay that the toes don't lift up very high. This is a really excellent movement, as small as it is, to help benefit your gait pattern, your walking pattern. Helps with extension of the front of the hip and engagement of the back of the leg. All right, let's do some more of these, but let's bring our legs back into hip distance apart. From here, tuck your right toes under, reach back through the heel, and micro lift and lower there, keeping the pelvis grounded, keeping the leg as straight as an arrow. As you work on those things, pelvis grounded, legs super straight, as you do this more often, you'll feel more and more engagement all around your buttocks muscles, the back of the thigh. You'll start to feel more of the extension in the front of the hip. It just takes time. Reach through the inner thigh, the outer thigh, the back of the thigh, the front of the thigh. All right, and then let's switch sides again, tucking your opposite toes under, reach back through the heel, and micro lift and lower there. All right, let's reach our arms overhead. Once again, you can have your forehead on the mat, or you can create a pillow under your forehead. And let's tuck our right toes under, reach long through that leg, and we'll stick to the right leg and the left arm from now as we lift and lengthen both. Think more about lengthening than height. Front of the pelvis and pubic bone gently roots down into the mat. And let's switch sides, tucking your opposite toes under, and then we'll do opposite arm and leg, lift and lower. Lengthening as you lift. Reaching through the heel, reaching through the thigh bone, reaching through the upper arm bone. And letting your breath flow. If you feel like, gosh, my knee's really bending, or my pelvis isn't staying grounded, or even if you're not like feeling much work here at all, chances are one of those two things are happening and you're not realizing it. This is a good one to do like every day for a week, to just get your body tuned into this movement. All right, relax. Take your right arm out to the right. Keep a little bend in the elbow. Take it like straight out in line with your chest, so not so much up here, down here. Now, if you get any pinching, then you move your arm like the tiniest little bit up or down just to get out of that, but then roll the back of your body towards that arm. Make sure your head is comfortable. It can lay on the floor, or it can lay on the block or your pillow, but you can roll the back of the body anywhere from a little to a lot towards that arm. You might feel this anywhere along the chain of the arm, in the chest, if you just feel mostly sensation directly in the shoulder joint and that's the only place, back off. Don't put so much load onto your arm. Maybe don't roll your back body so far over. Great place to take some rib breaths, inhaling all around, expanding the rib cage, exhaling out. All right, let's switch sides, switch arms. Micro bend in the elbow, especially if you're able to really lock your elbow out. Elbows are not like the knees. We often have to start with a little bend and then rotate your body any amount towards that arm. Tuning into your breathing here. Smooth inhales and exhales. Any pinching, move the arm a little bit up, a little bit down. Return your awareness to your breathing. All right, and then unwind, slide your arm in, press yourself up onto your forearms and your knees, tuck your toes under as much as you can, bring your forearms down, flip your palms up, try to roll your thumbs to the floor, and then we'll rock our hips forward and back here. Keep rolling the thumbs open, keeping the ankles pretty steady. Sides of the neck long as you look down at your mat. Great place to relax any unnecessary clenching around the shoulders, deep in the front of the hip crease. All right. Walk your knees a little bit wider, feet a little bit wider, and rock back and forth there. Next time your hips go back, bring the palms of your hands together. You can let your forehead rest on the floor. You can slide a pillow under there so your head is nice and comfortable. And then we'll lift our hands up and tap them down. Feel the toes press equally into the floor. Okay, we're gonna move our legs two wider than this. So this is a good time, if you'd like to spin sideways on your mat so that you can open your legs a little bit wider. Tops of the feet go down and rock your hips forward and back here. Relaxing the lower belly. If you always feel this more in one side than the other, it could be that that's what's going on in your hips. But also check with, do your hips always drift to one side as you're rocking forward and back? So you could, if you're not sure, you could, as you're rocking back, just go a little bit more over to the right and then play with going a little bit more over to the left. All right, how about walking your knees even wider? Now we're getting into like a frog pose, but you can still point your feet straight behind you and rock forward and back here. And then find a place to just stay and breathe. All right, and then walk up onto your hands and slide your legs in. Okay, here's where if you have a bolster or some pillows, it could be nice, but you can use your block. So you could use your, we're gonna do the waist first, then we're gonna do the rib cage, then we're gonna do the hip. I'll interchange. I think I'll do the block under some of it, but it's so nice to have something cushy at home. So first, whatever you have, the block or pillows, lay your rib cage right over, lay your belly button right over the center. So right about where your belly button is. This is the trickiest one to do with the block. It's nice if you have a cushion over it, but it can definitely be done because I've done it a couple times this week. Extend your legs nice and long, and then from here you'll take your top arm up and over any amount, and then back down. All right, let's shift to the ribs. So I'll go back and forth a little bit. So you can do bolster under the rib cage. Just bring whatever you're using higher up so it's underneath your armpit and above your waist. And of course, if you don't have anything, you can do this just all laying on your side. Still has great benefit. And then take your top arm up and over any amount. You can hold it there if it reaches. If you have another block, you could put your hand on the block. If it doesn't reach, bring your arm in front of you and just rest it forward a little bit. But from here, you can stay right here and enjoy this, or you can do a very small motion of rolling your rib cage forward and back a little bit. So when you lie in this position on your side, sometimes you unconsciously might always roll a little forward or roll a little back. This is putting a little bit of a different pull on the top rib cage and also giving a little massage to the bottom side. All right, bring your hand down, use it to press yourself up, and then we'll move to the hip. So again, you can do the block under the hip or whatever bolster or pillow you might have. Hop the right side of your hip right up onto it, and then extend your legs long, let your upper body come down. And then from here, you can just leave your hand right in front of you. You can just stay here and try to let that top leg drop down. You can also do a little rock forward and back here for your hips. And I have a client that I work with that this is like the sides of her hips are so tender that just coming up on anything doesn't feel good. So we just started out for a while just having her lay on her floor on the side and just rolling her hips back and forth. And that can help a lot. I feel like we're just kindly digging into our body, planting seeds for well-being, getting into all these little areas that could potentially not be moving when we're doing bigger movements. All right, use your hand in front of you, press yourself up, and then we'll spin around to the other side. So starting with your waist, lay your belly button right over the center of the block or the pillows or the towels, and extend your legs long, and we'll start with dynamic side bends with the top arm. All right, let's move whatever you're using as a bolster underneath the rib cage, below the armpit, above the waist. And take your top arm up and over. It can just stay there. It can rest on a block. It can come slightly forward. And then from here, maybe just staying and enjoying this breath and this sensation. Maybe rolling your rib cage a little bit forward and a little bit back. All right, bring your arm down and then we'll hop up to the hip. And I'm gonna do the block for this one. Right onto the side of your hip, the side of your buttocks. Extend your legs long. A hand can rest in front of you for support. At first, just let your top leg come down. If it's jabbing into the side of your hip in an uncomfortable place, just scoot up or down a little bit. And then a little rotation here if you'd like to. Never forcing. When the first few times I did this stretch, it was intense for my outer hips. And if it's intense, then just stay for a few breaths and then come off, or lower your hips down. Don't put them up so high. All right, use your hand in front of you to press yourself up, come off of whatever you're on. Put a pillow under your head, have your strap nearby, and come onto your back. From your back, we'll come into like a one-leg happy baby pose, but we'll do it with a strap. We'll wrap the strap around the ball of the right foot and then extend the left leg long and let that knee drop out to the right any amount. Your hand and the strap are doing a lot of the work here. Letting the thigh bone drop open, letting the tailbone tilt down to the floor, letting the other thigh come closer to the floor. And then just imagine some deep relaxation from your inner thigh into your groin area, the outer buttocks muscles all around encircling the top of your thigh bone. Try to have the sole of the foot facing the ceiling as the knee drops out towards your right waist. All right, let's switch sides. Extend the right leg long, left knee bends out to the side, sole of the foot to the ceiling. And then same thing here, check in. Can you relax the inner thigh to the groin area, deepen the hip crease that's flexing a lot now. Outer buttocks, outer thigh area. Letting your breath flow. All right, we're going to go back to the first side, but you can either, we don't want to wrap the strap around the foot. So you can either do the back of your thigh and just hold on like this out to the side, or you can hold on to your thigh or hold on to your shin. And then from here, We're going to just holding on into this one leg happy baby pose, slowly point and flex your ankle. And then spread all of your toes nice and wide. If you've got good at spreading them, try to spread them in one straight line. Try to point your big toe up and pull your little toes down. Now, it's not uncommon that the toes don't move at all when we first try to move them. And this is for people of all ages. Lift your little toes up and your big toe down. So if you're having trouble doing these, just keep focusing on the area. The muscles are there, the nerves just need time to reconnect to areas that might have atrophied. But if you've got the motion, go back and forth between the two. Big toes and little toes. And be patient with yourself, but keep coming back to this because waking up your feet muscles when they are more active all the time, it will mean less shock to your ankles, your knees, your hips, really beneficial for the body in the long run. Let's switch legs. So you can wrap the strap around the back of your thigh or just hold on to the thigh or hold on to the shin. And start out with a pointing and flexing. Try not to rush too much. I mean, there's always time for moving fast and moving slow, but usually when we're here, we want to start out slow. And then how about spreading all 5 of your toes open, any amount. Over time, the more your feet muscles wake up, and this will happen oftentimes regularly over the years, you'll get little cramping sensations in your feet. Try to point your big toe up and your little toes down. And then switch. And maybe you get one of those, maybe neither of those is happening yet. Keep working on the one or the both of them. And if you've got it, go back and forth between the two. I don't think I've ever had a client of any age who wasn't able to do this in time. So keep working at it. Keep your toes moving. Keep your feet healthy. All right, bring that leg down. If you have a block under your head, slide it out and then bend your knees, lift your hips and slide it under your hips. Get it so it's at a comfortable, secure place and extend your right leg long onto the mat. Reach long through your leg, bring your right hand up. So we're gonna go between an extended wrist and a flexed wrist, and we're gonna stretch our fingers in both. So we're getting the top of the hand and the back of the forearm, the bottom of the hand and the underside of the forearm. Extend your wrist, palm of the hand towards the ceiling, and pull your pinky finger down and back. And then flip your wrist the other way and pull your pinky finger down and back towards the underside of your forearm. And then wrist flip, middle finger pulls down and back. And flip, pulling the finger in the opposite direction. Flip, middle finger. Oh, I think I just said middle finger. I meant ring finger. So if you did the middle finger, go back to your ring finger. And flip, finger pulls down and back towards the underside of the forearm. Flip, pointer finger. You always want to be gentle. These are small muscles. Sometimes some of them get pretty tight. Flip the other direction, pull the pointer finger gently down and back. And then flip, thumb out to the side and down. Can your right hip, buttocks, thigh relax a little bit more? And then flip your wrist in the other direction and thumb gently pulls back towards the underside of your forearm. And let's switch legs and switch hands. So left leg extends long and right palm of the hand faces the ceiling as you tug out and back on your pinky finger. And flip the wrist. And the finger pulls back. And flip the wrist, ring finger. And flip. Relaxing from your hands all the way to your shoulders. Flip middle finger. And flip. Flip pointer finger. And flip. And flip thumb out to the side and down. And flip. Check in with that left hip and thigh. Can it relax a little more? All right, so if you're feeling like, ooh, my spine needs a break from what's happening here, bend both knees, tilt your pubic bone towards you, let your waist drop down to the floor, and you're still opening this area in the front of your hips. If it's okay for your body, extend both legs long at the same time, and then just be here and breathe. So most people spend an extraordinary amount of time with this area in a flexed position all day when you're sitting, even if you're sitting on the floor, which is good for your hips because you'll move them around more. A lot of exercises and sports like running, bicycling, sports, a lot of excessive contraction of these muscles which is active versus passive closure of this area when we're sitting all the time. But just being here and allowing this area to soften and relax is just really beneficial for so many functions of your body. I even figured out that when you're sleeping in a cushy bed, if you're on your back, your buttocks often sinks down into the bed, and then still this area doesn't fully open. And this area having full extension is wonderful for balance, for pelvic floor health. Take a couple more breaths here. Let your front ribs sink down. And then go ahead and bend your knees and press equally into the soles of your feet as you lift your hips up and slide the block out. You can put it back under your head, scoot your hips to the left as you do a 2-knee twist to the right, or rather spinal roll to the right. Let your exhale soften everything, and we'll unwind and scoot our hips a little to the right as we do a 2-knee roll to the left. All right, and then go ahead and come back onto your back. So here's where you probably will not want something under your head. We're gonna rock up. If rocking up does not work for you, just roll to one side, press yourself up, rock up, feet flat, try to roll down as slow as possible. And at some point you might notice your body just wants to fall. If your neck needs support, you can put one hand or both hands underneath your head. But try to come down as slow as possible, and then we'll do that a few more times. We'll rock up, and again, rolling down. And you can play with bringing your feet closer to you or farther away from you, and work where you fall less, and then over time you can slide your feet a little bit farther away. So bringing your feet out a little more and rolling down from here. Try to keep the knees hip distance apart. And then we'll rock up again. And you can even play doing it with all the way straight legs as you roll down. Taking your time. Getting into the habit of Ribs dropping down and back helps a lot with that. All right, let's rock ourselves up here. And come on up. And let's sit for a moment with our right ankle crossed in front of our left and do a couple circles in one direction. And then pause and do a couple circles in the other direction. And then pause and switch the crossing of the legs and circle around a couple times. And pause and circle in the other direction. All right, come on up to your knees. Step your right foot forward into a lunge. And then heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, your leg out to the side. From there, with your ankle right underneath your knee, slowly bend in. If you tend to have knee issues, really ease into this because this will put more pull on your knee. It's a motion that we want to have, but you always, have to be careful depending on what's going on in your body. All right, you can either stay kind of standing up on your other leg, or you can sink in and hold there. Hands come together low, open out to the side, and bring them together and lift your arm bones a little higher. Reach out and together and a little bit higher. Open up and together and a little bit higher. Open up high. Bend your elbows like cactus arm. Elbows are high, curl in and open. Elbows a little lower. Curl in and open and down a little. And one more lower. Doesn't matter if elbows come in all the way. Extend your arms, press back. Heel toe your right foot back up to the top of the mat. Ankles hip distance apart. And then twist your belly button toward your right leg. Feel the waist turn. Stacking your ears right over your rib cage right over your pelvis. And unwind, and we'll switch legs. Right leg steps back, left foot steps forward, keeping your hips square forward, heel toe the leg out to the side. Try to line up the foot so it's the same angle as the knee so they're not turning in different directions. And bend in any amount and press out. So you can stay any variation from upright to in a little more, to in a little more. Hands come in front, open up, bring it together and a little bit higher. Reach out and together and arms rise up. And higher. All right, cactus elbows, curl in high, open up, elbows a little lower. And a little lower. And a little lower. And then extend those arms out, press out, heel toe your foot back to ankles hip distance apart, pubic bone forward, and twist your belly button to your left leg, to your front leg. Letting your breath flow, shoulders relax. All right, unwind. You got your foot forward, your knee, your other foot back, tuck your toes under, push down to come on up to stand. Let's go ahead and let's step our right foot forward to start and our left foot back. And you can do quite a wide stance to start out with. You can always switch it. Ankles hip distance apart. Try to straighten out the back foot, the outer edge to the best of your ability. And the goal first is to keep that, I said right foot forward, is to keep the left leg super straight and your heel down as you bend into the front knee. So you'll straighten the front leg all the way and bend in, but try not to let the back heel come up at all or the back leg bend at all. And the pelvis stays in neutral, straight up and down, vertical. All right, next time both legs are straight, roll off onto your heel, onto the ball of your foot. The last thing to touch is that base of the big toe, the center base of the big toe. All right, next time you roll off, shift your weight forward a little to your front leg and then flip to the top of the foot and maybe roll a little bit side to side here. Remember, you can always do this with a towel or a pillow underneath your foot. If you find a particular angle to stay at, you can stay there. If your toes had a lot of trouble moving, this is a good one to do more often. All right, let's switch legs. So left foot forward, right foot back. You can start pretty wide here and then always scoot it forward like if you're coming into the top of the foot stretch. But first thing is ground that back heel with the edge of the foot closer to straight. Keep the leg super straight as you bend into the front knee. So straightening and bending the front knee, really paying attention to that back leg. All right, 2 straight legs, roll off the ball of the foot, landing on the center base of the big toe. And the next time you roll forward, like go forward so the weight can shift into your front leg so that you can flip to the top of your foot. And how about rolling a little side to side here? All right, release that foot. Grab your dome or your block or a rolled up towel for a calf stretch. Put the ball of your right foot up, your heel down. Left foot can stay back a little bit or step forward a little bit. Let's take the right arm up into the air, hand to the shoulder, elbow hugs in, ribs, think ribs down, but head and elbow slide back. And then we'll do side bends over to the left. I had a friend who also takes these online classes ask me, is someone there sometimes? Because I see you smiling. And it's a habit of mine because one, my first ever teacher said, smile at everyone. They won't smile back at you, but smile at everybody sometimes. 2, I like to smile. And 3, like I just smile because I'm genuinely happy to be here and to be doing these movements. I hope you are too, to some degree. All right, hold the side bend, elbow curls in. How about putting a bend in that knee and steering it over the center of your foot? And come up and let's switch sides. So put the ball of the opposite foot up, heel down. You can step your outside foot forward or back any amount. Left arm goes forward, think front ribs drop down, ears and elbows slide back, and side bends to the right. Enjoy your body, enjoy your breath, and if you're not feeling that yet, I hope you will get there. All right, hold the side bend, steer the knee over the center of the foot as you put a little bend in that left knee. And come on up and release your arm and you can step off of there. So from the top of the mat, outer edges of feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance apart. We're gonna sit back in a chair pose, sliding our knees back, and we're gonna stay in our chair pose as we circle our arms up and fold over the legs. And then stay in the chair as you circle up and fold any amount. And circle up and fold, and one more like that. Circle up and fold, holds. And then you can have your hands on the floor, you can have your hands on 2 blocks or 1 block. Step your left leg way back, reach long through that leg. And then from here, spin around to your left, parallel your feet, back your weight up into your heels, and come on up to stand. We'll spin our right toes out 90 degrees, press long through the left leg from the left buttocks to the heel. Arms come out like cactus arms. We'll reach wide and bend. Straight up and bend. Thumbs in and bend. Let's do that again. Reach wide and bend. Straight up and bend. Thumbs in and bend. From there, left arm comes down, right arm goes up, straighten the right leg all the way, like a reverse triangle. 2 straight legs, bend back, tap your shoulder, reach up, and tap, and reach. Tap, and reach, and tap, and reach. And then pull your torso back up, arm in the air, rebend that knee, steer it over the center of the foot, press long through the left leg, and then from here, we'll bend our upper body back a little and flip our wrists one way and the other. Wrists flip and flip. Wrists flip and flip, flip and flip. And then bring your torso up, straighten the right leg, tip over into a triangle pose. Reach out through your arm bones and rotate your arm bones. Feel the weight of your feet fall into your heels. You're gently pressing through the fronts of the feet, but a lot of times the weight drifts where it's almost like we're digging into the front of the foot and the toes. Back the weight up into your heels. Put a bend in that right knee, hand or elbow to the knee. Top arm reaches up, can go overhead, maybe hand to the shoulder. Think front ribs back, but also elbow and head slides back. Then turn your belly button up towards the ceiling a little bit. Breathing here. Weight falls into the heels, re-extend the arm, pull your torso up, parallel your feet, and rotate your pelvis over your straight thigh bones until it won't rotate anymore. Maybe bend your knees on the way down, and then walk back around to your right foot. Lower the knee down, slide your right knee to meet your left knee. Thumbs spread out towards each other. Elbow pits, soft front part of your elbow wraps forward, and then rhomboid push-up. With 2 straight arms, just let your spine relax down any amount, and then the work is on the way up. The lifting of the armpits, the spreading wide of the upper back, but that's happening without the tucking under of the tail. Breathing here. And if you've been doing these a while and you can walk your hands back a little so they're more under your chest, play with that. Press equally through the palms of the hands. If you've got the motion of the spine, start working more on the wrapping forward of the elbow pits. All right, how about we do a few more of these, but we take our hands just a smidge wider. So hitting slightly different angles of our muscles, which we love to do. Grounding through the feet. Feel the armpits lift up, the breastbone lift up. All right, so bring your hands back to shoulder distance. Remember, when we're doing stuff on all fours, we're coming into a plank. We want not the sink, but the lift and support. As you step back to a plank pose, feel that top of the rhomboid push-up, and then go up and back to a down dog. Outer edges of the feet closer to straight, ankles hip distance as you push your hips back. Now just notice where your feet really want to change. And if they want to change, see if you can pause there. Walk your hands back. And for some people, at one point, the feet will want to turn out, the knees will really want to bend. Like if you can figure out where that spot is, just stay there for a moment. And if you don't have that spot, just choose any spot to stay at. And then continue to walk back and roll your spine up And let's come back to the top of the mat. And you can have a block or not. So this time, instead of bent knees, we're gonna keep our legs super duper straight. So you're gonna rotate your pelvis into a forward fold with super straight legs, mostly flat back. And you're gonna keep your legs super straight as you come up. So you can make the fold less, but keep the legs straight. If your lower back is not tender, how about adding the arms in? Circle your arms up and rotate as you fold forward. Super straight legs as you circle up. And super straight legs as you go down. Super straight legs as you come up. Super straight legs, and I keep saying it because man, those knees often want to bend sometimes. Do less with your spine if you need to. And then circle and come down, and now bend your knees and step your right leg way back. And then from here, we'll go ahead and spin around to the right, parallel your feet, weight back in the heels, come up, left toes turn out, bend into the knee, press long from the right buttocks to the heel, cactus arms, and wide and bend. Reach up and bend. Together and bend. Reach wide and up and together. And from there, we'll take left arm up, right arm down, straighten the left leg, tip back, reverse triangle, and tap and extend. And then keep the arm up as you rebend the left knee, grounding into the heels, and then bend back a little towards the nice straight right leg. And from here, actually, we're going to keep our arm extended and flip our wrist. And then pull your torso up, straighten the left leg all the way as you tip over any amount. Reach long through your arms and rotate your arm bones. Feel the weight shift back into the heels of your feet. And then rebend that left knee, hand or elbow to the knee. Top arm goes up overhead, hand to the shoulder, elbow comes in a little, belly button turns up to the ceiling. Breathing here. Notice how your body might want to keep shifting you to the front of your feet. Re-extend the arm, pull yourself up, parallel your feet, and rotate your pelvis over your thigh bones. Walk back around to your left foot at the top of the mat. The right knee comes down, the left leg slides back. Okay, we're gonna do tricep push-ups. It's bending your elbows down. If your elbows are getting to the floor, that means you're starting with your hands quite a bit in front of your shoulders. So back them up. They'll only get about halfway. 2 is, and the most important thing you want to pay attention to at first, is do your elbows like to pop out to the sides? I'll show you from the front. So most people, they go down, their elbows pop out on the way up. Elbow pits forward. Try to keep your elbows pointing straight back on the way down, and also try to keep them pointing straight back on the way up. So maybe just focus on that a bunch for a while. Next piece of the puzzle is that a lot of times when we bend our elbows, we sink into our shoulder blades. Can you keep the top of the rhomboid push-up as you bend and straighten? Elbows point back, top of the rhomboid push-up. Breathing here, press equally through the palms of the hands. Now, if you'd like to, come up slowly with me. So bend down, and we'll come up to a count of 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend down, ribs up. 4, 3, 2, elbows in, 1. Bend down, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend down, ribs up, elbows in. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then sit back to a child pose. You can bring your hands together and curl them up towards the ceiling. You can create a pillow for your head. You can stretch your arms long. Come on up, have a seat on your right hip, curling your legs around to the left. Let me think not sure. Okay, from here, either way. So I think I usually do sit like this, but now that I'm thinking about it for mirroring purposes, I don't know which it is. So if you're sitting on your right hip, your legs are curling around to your left, you want your right arm to come out to the side. So ignore me if I'm not in the same mirroring position as you. Turn the palm of the hand behind you, reach it behind your back without using your other hand. Just see how far through it can go through, which is most of the time what we do is we're not using the other hand, but today, use your other hand, pull it through a little. And if your shoulders tend to hike up like mine do, drop your hands down and pull across low. And then so it's your right hand pulling behind your back. Drop your left ear to your left shoulder and slowly nod your head yes. And I'm just gonna lower my arms down a little bit more. Soften the face, relax the jaw. And then turn and look over your left shoulder when you're sitting on your right hip and nod your head yes here. Feel the connection from your neck down around your shoulder, your armpit area, maybe into your upper back and chest muscles. And then bring your head back to center and switch. Other side. Whichever hip you're sitting on, reach that arm out to the side. See how far you can reach your arm through, and then reach your hand back and pull it across a little bit, but also lower down a little bit if your shoulders tend to hike up. And then take your right ear to your right shoulder and slowly nod your head yes. Soften the cheek into the jaw. Relax your lips completely, your chin. And then turn your head and look over your right shoulder and nod your head yes here. And then bring your head back to center, relax your arms, swing your legs in front of you, and take a gentle forward fold. Maybe the chin drops all the way down to the chest, elbows drop in, shoulders relax. So you probably heard me say before, notice where you feel the sensation the most, like is it the back of your thighs? Notice where you feel the sensation the least. Is it some part of your back, your mid-back, your lower back, your upper back? And eventually, the area that you feel the most will calm down, and the area that you're not feeling will wake up. And I am starting to have that happen in my body. My hamstrings are feeling less, and my mid-back, which I know is my tight area, is actually starting to wake up, and I'm feeling it more when I'm here. So very exciting. It will happen for you too. Come onto your back for your final pose, Savasana. Do whatever you need to do to get comfortable. Put socks on, cover yourself with a blanket, let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. We'll be here for about 2 minutes. Ideally, we would spend 5 minutes in Savasana, but there's always so much movement to do. I do come back to tuning into my body and my breath every day. So if you can stay longer, do stay longer. You don't have to get up when we do some, at the end. You can even just, if you want to, put your hands to your heart and stay lying down. So just know that there are lots of options for you. But tuning into your body and your breath now. Life is amazing, and then it's awful, and then it's amazing again. And in between the amazing and the awful, it's ordinary and mundane and routine. Enjoy the amazing, hold on through the awful, and relax during the ordinary, breathing in and breathing out. That's just living, heartbreaking, soul healing, amazing, awful, ordinary, and it's all breathtakingly beautiful. If you would like to stay in your Savasana, I highly recommend it, but otherwise, how about a little wiggle here, a little reach there? When you're ready, rolling over to one side and just taking another inhale and exhale. Before pressing yourself up to a seated position, bringing your hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste. Hope you have a great one. I've got to go to the bathroom.